Welcome, fellow Toastmasters and guests. This meeting of online presenters has now begun. Guests, please note that in order to be a member of our club, you must be a current or former active member of Toastmasters International and have completed at least 6 Toastmasters official speeches, or alternatively, if you have substantial relevant presentation experience, you may apply for membership after demonstrating your abilities in a 2 to 3 minute speech delivered during our club meetings. All requests for membership are subject to approval by the members of our club. If you have not already done so, please change your panel to ensure it shows your name and role if you have one. Right-click and select Rename to do so. We have members and guests from many countries throughout the world. Thus, as a professional organization, we ask that you please be aware of language or word usage that may be considered offensive or otherwise insensitive due to cultural differences. Please note that we will be recording the meeting. Your video and audio contribution may be used for club marketing purposes. Also, please mute your microphone when you're not speaking. Please welcome our club president, DTM, Andrew Byrne.
Well, thank you very much, Carolina. I'd love to start off the meeting and recognize all of our guests. I see Nikki and her son from Pennsylvania, and I have to change my view to see who else is there. We have Antoinette Cleveland from the West Indies. We have Diana, I believe, is visiting us. Is that correct?
Yes, Diana Marshall. I'm from South Florida.
You're in South Florida.
Yeah.
And I'm looking to see if we have anybody else. I think that's it for right now. We're going to have a fantastic meeting. Hope everyone has a little bit of fun at least. If I seem a little bit out of it, I'm recovering from propofol from a surgery that I had this morning. But otherwise, we're all here to have fun. And may the internet gods be nice to me because I'm running out of shared time because my main internet is down. But you learn how much you miss it when you don't have it. Any event, I turn it over to our Toastmaster of the day to lead us through our meeting.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, and good evening, good morning, and hello to everybody. I am the Toastmaster of the day, Distinguished Toastmaster Rosina Duncanson, but I am not serving here all alone today. Today, the theme is experimentation, and I'm quite sure we all have a different thought about experimentation. And I did some research, and there were some things that I saw that I really didn't enjoy. And there were some things that I thought that I actually liked about experimentation. So I'm hoping that as you journey today on experimentation, you find the benefits of how important it is for us to try new things and find ways to make this world a much better place. But let's talk to our role holders this evening, and let's start off first and get an idea of what our role holders will be doing. Let's hear from our timer. Mr. Timer, Distinguished Toastmaster David Carr, tell us about your role this evening. Is he there?
He's muted. Oldest trick in the book. I will be showing colored backgrounds. You will see green when you have reached the minimum for whatever topic that you are speaking to. You'll see yellow when you're in at about the midpoint, and then you will see red when you have, in fact, run out of time. There is a little 30-second rubber where you can run the red light just a little bit. And then at 30 minutes, at your time limit, you will see red. You'll have 30 seconds to wrap up. So I'm using green, yellow, and red photographs as my backgrounds today.
Thank you so much, Distinguished Toastmaster David Carr. And our guest counter for this evening, Diana Marshall. Tell us about your role this evening. What will you be doing?
Good evening, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests. My name is Dana Marshall. As our counter, I will count words like you know, and other crutch words. And I will give a report at the end of the meeting. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Diana. And our grammarian for this evening, Toastmaster Lou Brown. Tell us about your role this evening.
Certainly, Madam Toastmaster, as grammarian, I am looking for colorful usage of phrases and sentences and words, and also incorrect ones that I may point out in a report at the end of the meeting to those who may be violators of such grammar usage, and also be on the lookout for the word of the day, which is hypothesis. I put the meaning in the chat, and I'm going to do it again real quick. Hypothesis is a supposition or proposed explanation made on the basis of limited evidence as a starting point for further investigation. Think of it like a theory, because when that investigation is completed, that's when you throw out your conclusion and see if your hypothesis is correct. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Lou. And our watcher for this evening, distinguished Toastmaster Andy Byrne. You're on mute, Andy.
Thank you very much. I appreciate being called upon. The role of the watcher is what used to be called the body language monitor. The watcher watches everything that takes place in your Zoom frame and also observes what's great and what can be improved on your Zoom frame. Do you have adequate lighting? Are you close enough to your camera so that you can see yourself? Are you moving where your camera picks up the activity? Are you dead center? Are you using the rule of threes with your photographic image? All of these things will be watched, and I'll let you know with the report. Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Andy. And moving on now to the chat monitor, Andrei Spolenko.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster of the evening. I'm Andre, and I'm your chat monitor. Unique role for online presenters, and my role is to monitor chat. Just for the guests, a special announcement. Please use the chat and enjoy everybody else using the chat as well. I'll keep my eyes, my ears open for interesting subjects during the chat, and I'll report back at the end of the meeting. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you so much, Andre. And our vote counter, Rick Derling. Tell us about your role.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. I am the vote counter. That means my job is to post a link in chat when speaking is done to let you vote for best speaker. I will do that also for best evaluator and also for best table topics. So keep an eye out for being able to vote. Give me a few seconds to get it posted, and we'll go from there. And I appreciate if everybody will vote. Back to you.
Thank you so much. All right, and this is no experiment. We're gonna now move into our speakers. Thank you so much to our role holders for the evening. You heard their roles, so ensure that you take note. And
Rosina, pardon me, we do the tip of the day at the beginning?
we do the tip of the day. Thank you so much. And the tip of the day is actually going to be done by David Carr. David Carr, the floor is yours. Thank you so much.
All right. So I haven't actually been practicing for this part of the speech all day. I've been practicing debugging the thing that I'm going to show you, which is actually something that I showed here a couple of weeks ago. It wasn't even half baked yet. And I guess it's still completely not fully baked, but it's getting closer. So this is an alternate version of our sign up form. And I think it will be eventually integrated into the way that we sign up for things and reorganize our agenda on a routine basis. But right now it's sort of off in this experimental mode. So you come to the page, and this actually allows you, it'll show the next meeting by default if you just go to our website /sign up. So I can sign up for a role. but I can also go into this mode where I am editing assignments. And if I decide that actually somebody else should take that role, I can switch to them. Also in this editing role for things like speakers and evaluators where we have several, we can move people up and down the list with a click. And if we see that we have evaluator number 1 open, we can just click this button that says close gaps, and the gaps close on up. So that's just where we have, but you know, if I'm moving these things around and I decide that actually Brian should be first because he's going to evaluate speaker number 1, I can move him up yet again. But we can also do something similar with this mode called organize. And this is allowing people to do stuff that typically have required people to get into the back end of the website. And I've gotten a lot of feedback that people find it a little bit too overwhelming and confusing. So if we wanted to rearrange this meeting so that table topics was farther up, if we wanted to do table topics before our speeches, we also have the ability to move that up. So now Topics Master is up top. And if we know that we have somebody who is going to give a long speech and we're going to need more time allowed for this, we can update that here. And when that's updated, we'll actually see the times update on the schedule so that we can see that now our meeting is going to run late. Oh, 3 minutes late. We can't have that. And so maybe I go through and I shorten up something else. I can reduce the amount of time for table topics, for example. So that's only going to be 9 minutes, and now our meeting will come in on time. Ultimately, the goal is that you would also be able to work out the perfect format here and decide to make that the new template for all your future meetings and update all those things. Those are a couple of things that are still need to be fully baked. But I'd love it if you would try this just for your routine work within the club and give me feedback on what's easy, what's hard. There is also a demo site that you can go to see this and just play around with it like crazy without doing any damage to the organization of our club. And I think somebody's asking me whether this would be for everybody. There is the ability to set security rules, but in general, I'd like the Toastmaster of the day to be able to reorganize that agenda however they need to make the meeting work. I'd like the VP of Education to be able to do that. But you know, the club can work out how tight or how permissive they want the security rules to be. So that's the plan.
Thank you very much, David, for a very, very, very detailed way of looking at the agenda. Now, I do want to know that we actually have 3 speakers this evening before we get started, and just want to confirm the speaking order. We're going to have speaker 1, Sunny Fridge, and then speaker 2 is going to be Graham, and speaker 3 is going to be Evie Hartman. And so the evaluators will also be in similar order. Evaluator 1 will be Jim Barber. Evaluator 2 is going to be Joni Laidlaw. And then evaluator 3 is going to be Petra Corradal. Petra, can you confirm that you're on the line, please? Fabulous. And Petra, you'll be evaluating.
Who am I evaluating?
Speaker number 3, Evie Hartman.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you also. So let's get started with our speaker number 1. Speaker number 1, Dr. Sunny Fridge, how to prepare practice and present an icebreaker speech with confidence, speaking from Visionary Communication, Level 3, Increasing Knowledge. Now, our speaker has been a Toastmaster since 2015, and she received her Distinguished Toastmasters Award in 2019. She's now working towards her second Distinguished Toastmasters, this time in the Pathways program. She's a co-founder and coach of Speak and Shine Academy, a virtual public speaking school for kids and adults. Today, she will share a video she's working on for the Speak and Shine YouTube channel. The title is, of course, How to Prepare, Practice, and Present an Icebreaker Speech with Confidence. And this particular speech is going to be between 6 and 8 minutes. Please help me welcome to the virtual stage, Distinguished Toastmaster, Dr. Fridge.
Woohoo! Are you a Toastmaster who is stressed out about giving an icebreaker speech? Perhaps you're not sure what to talk about. In this video, I will guide you through 3 steps to prepare, practice, and present your icebreaker speech with confidence. If we've never met, I am Dr. Sunny Fridge, aka Dr. Sunny. I'm co-founder of Speak and Shine Academy. I help emerging speakers, entrepreneurs, and leaders overcome fear to speak with confidence and ease. Congratulations on becoming a Toastmaster. The Icebreaker speech is an opportunity for you to introduce yourself to members of your Toastmasters Club. You'll also learn about the basic structure of a speech. Grab a pen and paper, you'll want to take notes. The first step is to decide on a topic. When you're just starting out, this can be easier said than done. But don't worry, here are some ideas to consider as a topic for your speech. Introduce yourself. Share something about your family and background, perhaps a fun or interesting memory of growing up. Another option, you can talk about why you joined Toastmasters. One of the easiest topics I found to break the ice is to talk about something you're passionate about. Since the speech is about you, talk about your hobbies or your interests, your favorite sport, your education or profession. My first icebreaker was about my love of teaching and how not having my contract renewed was a setback that became a setup for my comeback when I joined Toastmasters and the John Maxwell leadership team. Now, once you've chosen your topic, the next step is to write your speech. Toastmasters provides a speech outline and pathways to help you structure your speech. It's like a script. You'll probably have to tweak it several times. I always say the art of writing is rewriting what you've rewritten. The time requirement for an icebreaker speech is 4 to 6 minutes. Aim for a 5-minute speech. You'll need to prepare about 500 to 750 words for the icebreaker. 500 words is about 1 page in a Word document using a 12-point font. Another option to using the Toastmasters speech outline is to use the informative speech outline. I love it. I use it with my students and my clients. In this framework, the speech begins with an attention getter, introduction, body, and conclusion. The attention getter helps get the attention of your audience. It's a way to hook them in so they'll keep listening. An attention getter can be a quote, a question, or a story. It can also be a startling statistic or joke. We will focus on quotes and question attention getters. For example, let's say you're doing a speech about a vacation you took with your family. An example of an attention getter quote is, "It's been said the best things in life are the people we love, the places we've been, and all the memories we've made along the way." A question attention getter regarding the vacation topic could be, "Raise your hand if you've ever traveled to Aruba." Or, "By a show of hands, how many of you have taken a vacation in the last year?" After the attention getter, you say something about your topic and then share what you will talk about. For example, today I'd like to share 3 highlights from my vacation in Aruba. One technique I recommend for new speakers is a method I learned as a TV news reporter. First, I would tell viewers what I'm going to tell them. Then I tell them. Then I tell them what I told them. In your speech, in your introduction, tell your audience what you're going to tell them. In the body, you tell them. Then in the conclusion, you recap and tell them what you told them. Another tip, end your speech with impact. Instead of just saying, thank you for listening to my speech about my vacation to Aruba. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day. Instead, you can tie your ending back to that attention getter quote by saying, I encourage you to make time to see the world. Take vacations, go as many places as you can. Remember, you can always make money. You can't always make memories. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day. Did you notice the difference? And by the way, I did take a trip with my family to Aruba, and it was amazing. A link to my speech is in the description. Now that you've written your speech, the third step is to practice your speech. You probably heard the saying, practice makes perfect. That usually isn't true at the beginning of a Toastmasters journey. But while practice doesn't make perfect, practice makes improvement. The more you practice, the more you become comfortable and confident delivering your speech. Confidence breeds competence. You may be asking, how many times should I practice? Good question. Practice several times a few days before giving your icebreaker speech at the club meeting. But don't just read your speech silently. You must practice out loud. Your speech sounds different when you read silently versus when you read it out loud. One of the best ways to practice is to use your smartphone to record yourself delivering your speech and also record your speech time. If you write down at least 3 speech times, it allows you to listen back to notice whether you read a little too fast or too slow. Then you can make adjustments on the pacing of your speech. Another tip, if you're reading your entire speech word for word, I recommend you memorize the beginning of your speech and the end of your speech. Doing this will allow you to maintain eye contact with your audience and make you appear confident. Today, I've shared 3 steps on how to prepare, practice, and present an icebreaker speech with confidence. First, you have to choose a topic. Next, write your speech. And third, practice your delivery. I also shared a few presentation tips. Zig Ziglar was right when he said, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Congratulations on starting your Toastmasters journey. The icebreaker speech is the first of many that you will give. Please know that your club members want you to succeed, and so do I. After you deliver your speech, let me know how you did by posting in the comments below. I'm rooting for you. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe to our channel for more tips on becoming a better communicator. I'm Dr. Sunny. Remember, it's your time to speak and shine. I'll see you in my next video. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you so much for that, Dr. Sunny. Moving on now to our second speaker for this evening. Distinguished Toastmaster Graham Cairns has been unable to compete in speech contests for some years as an area director and a division director. He has been eligible for 5 of the past 7 years, but that hasn't stopped him from investigating what makes a winning speech. And today he's looking at using high tech to improve your chances, maybe. Let's give it up for Toastmaster Graham Cairns.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters, welcome guests. Artificial intelligence technology has come a long way in recent years, and it has the potential to greatly enhance the public speaking experience. Allowing the use of artificial intelligence software in a public speaking contest would bring a number of possible benefits, such as improving speech quality. I mean, AI software can help speakers with speech synthesis, making their speech more natural and smooth. It can help by enhancing speech content. AI software can help speakers with content generation, helping them to create more engaging and more informative speeches. Artificial intelligence can improve accessibility. AI software can be used to make public speaking more accessible to people with disabilities, such as those who are deaf or who are hard of hearing. And artificial intelligence technology can encourage innovation. Allowing the use of AI software in a public speaking contest would encourage innovation and experimentation, making the contest more dynamic and exciting. The use of AI technology in public speaking contests would bring many benefits and should be permitted. It would help improve the quality of those speeches, making them more accessible, to encourage innovation in the field of public speaking. Now, I've got to stop here. I mean, we're talking about Toastmasters public speaking contests, and they have as one of the rules of entry that the work has to be substantially original. I actually looked up that rule just to make sure. It means that no more than 25% of any speech can be someone else's material. And that 90-second discussion of AI and speech contests that I just gave you, well, that would amount to 1/4 of a 6-minute speech. So what? Well, every single word of that discussion was generated by an artificial intelligence chatbot, ChatGPT, the exact sort of artificial intelligence software that I was speaking about. Now, I have to say that it would be unlikely that I would win a speech contest if I gave something as dry and dull as that. I mean, to do that, you need a speech that has to be both inspiring and humorous, like the commencement speech given by Conan O'Brien. He gave that at Dartmoor College in 2011, and it was a cracker of a speech. In that speech, he talked about his experiences in life, from his early days as a writer for Saturday Night Fever to his time as the host of The Tonight Show. He shared humorous anecdotes about the ups and downs of his career, the lessons that he learned along the way. But one of the main themes of his speech was the importance of failure and how it can lead to success. Conan talked about how he had failed many times in his career, but he always found a way to come back and succeed. He also talked about how failure can be a learning experience that can help people to grow and become better. O'Brien also talked about how important it was to have a sense of humor when dealing with life's challenges. I mean, we all know that. And how laughter can help keep things in perspective. And he shared his belief in the importance of hard work, perseverance, and being open to new experiences. The speech was both inspiring and humorous. He used self-deprecating humor and anecdotes to connect directly with the audience, and his message of perseverance and hard work in the face of failure resonated. He was able to strike a balance between making the audience laugh and giving them something to think about. So that's the sort of thing that a contest-winning speech would need. But that last 90 seconds was also directly from an AI chat program, as I might tell you is this. A winning speech in the Toastmasters International contest is typically well-structured, engaging, and delivers a clear message. The speaker uses a variety of techniques to engage the audience, including storytelling, humor, and strong vocal delivery. The speech usually has a clear introduction that captures the audience's attention and sets the stage for the rest of the speech. The body of the speech is usually well organized with a clear flow of ideas that build to a powerful conclusion. The speaker will use a variety of speaking techniques such as gestures, vocal variety, and pacing to keep the audience engaged. They typically also use visual aids such as slides or props to help illustrate the point. Normally, a winning speech will have a clear call to action or a message that the audience can take away. So the speaker's delivery is confident, passionate, and persuasive, and uses personal anecdotes to connect with the audience. In general, a winning speech at a Toastmasters International competition is one that is well prepared, engaging, and delivers a clear message that resonates with the audience using effective techniques and good delivery. Now, as I say, that last bit was also written by a chat bot, an artificial intelligence software bot. So what's the difference between analyzing a winning speech, which that just did, and emulating the bits that we can emulate, and wholesale plagiarism? Is it, as one wit once said, steal one man's work and it's plagiarism, but steal 5 men's work and it's research? Funnily enough, the AI software I've been using, the ChatGPT, even has something to say about that. This quote suggests that taking a small amount of someone's work is considered plagiarism, but taking a large amount of work from multiple sources is considered research. This is not true. Plagiarism is using someone else's work, ideas, or words without giving them credit, and it is considered unethical regardless of the amount of work used. It is important to always properly cite and acknowledge the sources of information used in any research or writing. With that in mind, and so as I don't plagiarize, I'm going to put all of the prompts which I used with ChatGPT into our chat box so you can see how the software worked and gave me the bits that I've just used. But the thing that worries me is that if you do it right, it'll be almost impossible to tell the difference between a speech that you've written and polished and presented and given blood, sweat and tears to quote Shakespeare, and also to quote Shakespeare from The Tempest, "Oh, brave new world that has such wonders in it." Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Graham. Talk about experimentation. Let's move on now to our speaker number 3. Speaker number 3 for this evening is giving an icebreaker. Let's see what we can do. Evie Hartman has loved Toastmasters since 2013, starting in Houston, Texas, where she served as VPE and president. She's happy to be here and hopes to get in some practice for a speaking engagement on Wednesday. Let's give it up for Evie Hartman. Let's see what we can do. Speaking for 5 to 7 minutes.
Fellow Toastmasters, hi. My name is Evie Hartman and my occupation is virtual environment designer, which means I make game-like environments for people and companies who want to meet online. I work with spatial platforms, which are online tools where everyone has an avatar. And when you get close to each other, you can see and hear your video and audio more. They're great for companies who want to recapture that feeling of presence. So that's what I do. But who I am is a person who is never, ever bored. I consider an underlying theme of my life to be, let's see what we can do. Wherever people are looking at obstacles and seeing an exciting challenge to solve in innovative new ways, wherever people get satisfaction from that, that's a happy place for me. Somehow helping those people make things happen. Even if I'm the one doing grunt work or fetching coffee, I don't care. As long as I'm a link somewhere in that kind of amazing chain, my life is satisfying. And the field of XR has been nonstop satisfaction, and I love it. I could talk your ear off about it. And in fact, in future speeches, I fully intend to. But today, I'm going to talk about a moment that was instrumental to getting there. A moment I realized I could. A moment I saw what I could do. A little after the pandemic hit, with all the fallout from it, I was filling out some job application or another. I don't even remember what the job was for, but one of the questions on that application really popped off the page. It said, discuss a challenge you've experienced and why it made you a better person. 500 words. At first, I figured I'd write about losing all my previous jobs because of COVID-19, but that seemed almost disingenuous because, well, everyone was going through that, and I wasn't really sure it had made me a better person yet. Then, looking at this application question, I hypothesized about seeing what else I could do. I considered writing about several years ago when I had a different experience that upended my life in a traumatic way. And as I began to write, I began to realize a connection. I began to see something I'd done. And I'm going to tell you about that connection I saw as I began to write this application answer. So I'm going to rewind several years. After a great college career at Texas A&M University, I started an oil field chemistry job. 3 days before I walked across the stage to graduate, I was really driven, and then 17 months later, I was promoted into the facility overseeing the company's greatest challenges across the Northern Hemisphere. The campus was beautiful, my salary, comfortable. Life was going great. Then in the summer of 2013, I had a traumatic experience. I took my then boyfriend to visit my family in San Diego, California. That wasn't the traumatic part, I promise. And took him swimming at La Jolla Cove, California. Then all of a sudden, the waves got so tall and so strong. I remember going under the surface again and again, and I remember the moment I looked back to see my then boyfriend scrambling up the side of a jagged rock with a wave rising high above him. I had no idea it was that a cruise ship was passing too close. All I could think was, I brought him here. This is my fault. And then I remember being pulled out of the ocean by two strong surfer guys, and I emerged physically unharmed. And my then boyfriend did too. He actually felt awesome because he'd been able to jump off that rock and save himself. And he's also my husband now. But soon after that, focusing started becoming strangely harder for me on anything in every area of my life, including work. It got real bad. It took almost a year of my bosses and me being confused and frustrated at why my performance had changed so dramatically, and me being determined to bowl my way through it, but I lost my job. I was devastated. Nothing like that had happened to me before. What was wrong with me? I'd identified strongly as someone who would never let this kind of thing happen. I've been so driven, and it took me a long time and a lot of really hard looks at myself in the mirror and a lot of gentle support and encouragement from my husband for me to face the fact that I needed help. Eventually, with good therapy, I was able to mitigate the effects of the traumatic experience on my ability to function. However, the pain of the loss, the breakdown of the way I'd seen myself remained for a long time. But because of how thoroughly I needed to self-assess, I now had a wealth of knowledge about myself that I'd never had a reason to seek, experiences I might never have been free for, and curiosity about other types of work that might be fulfilling for me. And I decided to see what I could do. So I did a lot of things. I taught myself some database programs, some accounting, and what's required to start companies in a few different industries. One of them, a costume making operation that actually made $10,000 in one Halloween season. I taught myself graphic design and turned a friend's Word files into books he still sells today. I worked in sales, helped a colleague crowdfund. I worked remotely. I became president of a public speaking club, Toastmasters. I learned how to make, staff, and perform at large-scale theatrical events, professional murder mystery dinners, and escape rooms. I've even played Disney princesses. I sang Let It Go to a crowd of 200 screaming toddlers, one of the best moments of my life. I discovered the field of experience design, and I networked and networked and networked, soon landing an acting role in a blockbuster immersive event at South by Southwest. Again, life was going great. Then came COVID-19. I lost all of my entertainment jobs. The escape room closed, the murder mystery company, it was gone. And it felt really similar to years ago when my life as I'd known it had crumbled. But then it hit me. I was fully capable of getting past this because I had done it before. That moment was the gunshot at the start of a race. I didn't waste a day. There was too much to learn. During this pandemic, I helped one of my employers pivot to virtual events and then started an entire online community for people who make them, getting so much work in virtual environment design. I learned how to create a wiki. I moved all the way from Houston to where I live now. I turned a small gig writing for a game company into a larger gig designing their manual, then their mobile app, and then turned that to a management position. I've made virtual environments for a few really cool companies, such as the Children's Media Association, Dartmouth University, and last fall, I did one for Google Earth. And I have a speaking engagement this coming Wednesday, presenting to people who have been working in the field of XR for years, some of them experts I cannot believe I'm sharing a stage with. But that night, that moment, writing that application was the crucial moment that I realized those two things were connected. Another major sucker punch had come along and it hit me really hard. And then I went on to put my world back together because I'd already done it. So if you happen to be feeling uncertain about something right now or going through something difficult, please know that you're going to get through it because chances are you've already done it. You're going to trust yourself. You're going to draw on the strength that's already there and you're going to see what you can do. Madam Toastmaster.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing this evening. We're now going to move into what I like to say is one of the favorite parts. But before that, let's hear from our timer. Can you please let us know how our speakers did this evening?
Well, the short version is all speakers qualified, and I will post the times in the chat.
Thank you so much. And don't forget to vote for the best speaker. Our vote counter just let us know how we should be voting, if it's going to be using the link or we should send the notices directly to you. The link is in the chat. Thank you so much, Rick. All right, our table topics master for this evening. Where is... Ah, there you go. Trisha, I'm looking for you. Trisha, the floor is yours.
Hello, good evening. I am going to ask a question. I want permission to share the screen in case I'm going to use that option. What I did is I created a slide and it has some photos on it, and I'm going to use it as my background. So let me do that. And then my concern was it might be too small for everybody to see all the images. So then I might have to share my screen. So sorry to take the time up to do that, but let me see how that works. Okay, now I've put the image, my background, and as you can see, if you're using the same view as me, which is gallery, it probably looks super small. So I was looking at the view to see if there was a way, like when I'm speaking, you can see me as speaker and see it, I'm sure, right? But I didn't know if there was another way, so I probably have to share my screen. Any other suggestions?
Let's see, I'm sorry. We did make you larger, so we made you full screen.
Okay.
So, oh, I'm sorry. Did I do that for everybody? I'm sorry. I think I used the wrong. Here we go.
How's that?
There we go.
Is that better?
Share screen does work better. Yep.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that feedback. All right. I am the table topics presenter for tonight. I didn't get to describe that role, so I'm going to pick on some people that I can see who does not have a role for the meeting. Let me see if I can see everybody here. Unless there's any volunteers. So this is what my idea was. I did a little research and I'm a news geek, so I listen to news in my background probably way too much. So I hear all the current events going on, and with my work, we have this big conference going on this week. It's a self-care conference, which was very enlightening. This was our first day. So I was trying to combine the ideas and use the word of the day, hypothesis, combine it with scientific method so that we would have a lot of that content going there too. So you can see one of the pictures there. So what I did is I combined everything. This is all about self-care, physical well-being, the scientific method. You can choose whichever image you want. I kind of put some little topics on there just to kind of identify what it's representing. You can choose two ways to present your information. You can either take the image and create a story and talk about it, or you can give your experience with it. So if you like to do yoga, for example, for your physical well-being, you can just talk about that, however you want to do it. So I was trying to be creative. So that's why I created this. So let's go ahead and see. I might need some help with the way my screen's taking this up. How about Antoinette Cleveland? I know we heard from you in the beginning. Would you like to do a table topic?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear your question.
Would you like to do a table topic tonight? This would be about, I think it's a 1 to 2 minute presentation. Am I right? 1 to 2 minutes, not 1.5, 1 to 2 minute presentation. And you can pick one of these images. You can either create a story about the image itself, identify it like de-stress, physical well-being, emotional well-being, self-care, any of these that are showing on the screen, or you can share your own story about the topic. Like, how do you de-stress?
Okay.
Or any of those.
Okay.
Thank you.
Why don't you stop screen sharing while she speaks?
Can I just pause the share to do that, or do I have to stop?
I think you need to stop it. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Hello, everyone. So, did you want me to start the table topic now or prepare for it now?
Go ahead. This is impromptu speaking. So the topics, I showed the topics, and you can either give a story about the image that you saw or create your own story about the topic of the image.
Okay, I'll take physical well-being. So,
discussing physical well-being, I will say that I actually, a few years ago, I never thought I was a gym person, but I did become a gym person, and I actually joined a boot camp class, and we had a competition, and I actually won a competition. So I think that in terms of all the topics that we see, physical well-being, spiritual, social, self-care, even occupational health, physical well-being blends in with the beginning of our own self-care and well-being. And I can say as my own personal, a lot of times we think about our own limitations, where we are, like we may not be able to run a 5-minute sprint, but I can personally say that I found that if you just start, that your physical well-being can improve a lot of your own personal care.
Thank you very much, Antoinette. All right, let's give another speaking opportunity to, I'm gonna say Petra. I don't think you have I was looking to see if you had a role. Would you like to help us with the table topics tonight, Petra?
Yes, Madam
Okay.
Topic Master.
Thank you. I'm gonna put the images are up on the screen again. You can pick the same one or a different one and go by either topic and create your own story and your own experience, or give a story about the image that you see. Just identify
Okay.
which one you're doing, please. Thank you.
I'm just going to do it. I didn't hear anything. I was preparing for evaluation. I'm going to pick spiritual well-being. Thank you.
Trisha, I think she's expecting you to ask her a question about spiritual well-being, so maybe.
Oh, let me clarify that. Okay, I had the images up, and if you can either tell a story about the image that you saw relating to the spiritual well-being, because I had them labeled, or your own. What do you do for your own spiritual well-being? You can answer that question as well.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry
Thank
for
you
the
both.
confusion.
No, I didn't pay attention. Okay. That picture of all the 10 or more pictures caught my eyes. I am 74, and I thought right now at similar age, at this age, starting maybe from 60 to 74, I was into slowing down. Before that, my life was always on a fast lane, doing 10 different things at the same time, and always achieving, always escalating, always racing in the rat race of my job, my life, earning money, doing something that maybe society market as successful. I was buying a car, a house, and having such a life, traveling. But then when I got a little later in life, I found that I could be happier than the things that society and myself marketed as successful. The word success is measurable because you can set a goal that when you achieve the DTM, you'll be happy. Actually, you can be happy every day that you can serve, and you can improve just a little bit after each meeting. That could make you beautiful. So I came to a conclusion after I saw that photo in the middle of a lot of tiles on your screen. And I thought that was just so beautiful when you see people just admiring nature and being with themselves. I think spiritual well-being is so meaningful for me. And I don't know about you. Would you feel the same? Table topic master.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing. All right. Do I have time to continue? Can we do one more?
Yes, you can.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to share my screen again. Second. There we go. There we go. All right. And I'm going to either pick Nikki or Diana. There weren't too many of us that don't have roles tonight. So either of you, just pick an image on the screen, if you can see the screen, or the topic itself. If you're picking the image, you can create a story about the image in relation to the topic that's shown, or just take the topic and share your own experience about it. Emotional well-being, physical, spiritual, social, scientific method, de-stressing, health and well-being, self-care, occupational health, whatever. I hope that makes sense.
I think Nikki has a hand up.
Go ahead, Nikki.
Okay.
I can go.
All right. Did you pick one, Nikki?
Yes, I'm good. Yeah.
Okay. You want to just share what the topic is?
Yeah, so it's going to be a mix of social well-being and spiritual well-being. So it'll be a combo. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you. So social well-being and spiritual well-being. A couple weeks ago, a coworker and a friend of mine put together a group of women, we're all women, all women, and we decided to be our accountability buddies for meditation. How are we meditating? When are we meditating? Let's check in every day. Let's see how we're doing. Let's support each other in this moment. When she first opened it up, there was maybe 10 or 12 of us, and I think now there's 18. And in the very beginning, of course, we were all posting and sharing, I did this one today, or this was my meditation, or I missed today. And, that person would get a bunch of encouragement. And, of course, over the weeks, it's kind of waned a little bit, and we're not always all checking in, but someone will post and someone will check in on our group text, and then we'll all go, but I'm still here. And that's so awesome. And, it's a group of women who are related to where I work. My friend and my coworker work. So I know the majority of the women in the group, but a lot of them don't know each other. So to see them connecting and sharing and supporting each other in a very virtual world via a group text. So we're socially working together on our spiritual well-being. And in about a week, next week, we're all getting together in person. And my friend and coworker is going to be hosting a live meditation. And she is one of the best meditation. I could listen to her meditations for hours. So I'm so excited for that moment. But it was really beautiful to be able to combine that social with the spiritual.
Great example. Thank you so much for sharing. Do we have time for another one?
Final one.
Wrap it up.
This is your
All
last
right.
one.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that one. I'm going to say, how about Diana? Are you still with us? Yes. Diana, would you like to do a table topic? I'm going to share my screen again so you can see the images. And if you can see the images, just pick a topic or the image, create a story about the image in relation to the topic, or just take the topic and share your own experience with it.
Okay, I'll pick self-care.
All right. And the floor is yours.
Self-care is a way of taking care of yourself. Because in a world where you're taking care of so many people, taking care of a job, taking care of your family, taking care of relatives and friends, there has to be space to take care of yourself as well. And self-care means different things to different people. For some people, self-care just means going home and just taking a bubble bath or something. For other people, it means going to the gym and taking care of your body. For other people, it means doing yoga or meditation and taking care of your spiritual self. For me, it's a combination of all. I believe that we're mind, body, and soul, and we should take care of all three. And if you leave out one, you're not in balance. So it's important to take care of your body, your mind, and your soul. I do yoga, and I also attend Toastmasters, and I read a lot of books. I'm in a book club. So for me, I try and take care of my mind by reading a lot. I try and take care of my body by doing yoga and working out. And spiritually, I do yoga and meditation and prayer. And so this helps me cope with life, because in a very challenging world, we need all the help we can get, right? So taking care of yourself, doing self-care is one way to meet those challenges that we have in life. Madam Table Topic Master.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm going to put the names of all of the table topic speakers in the chat box, and I just wanted to end it with, I think that was a wonderful sharing experience. Thank you. There's so much going on today in the news and with their own personal lives. I myself work remotely, so it definitely affects us in so many ways. So stay healthy, everybody. Back to you. The general evaluator, I believe, is next, or table topics, or I'm sorry, the Toastmaster of the day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tricia. And it seems like all of our speakers for table topics qualify, and the link to vote has been placed in the chat. So please be sure to vote for the best table topics speaker. Now it's time for us to get some feedback. Please help me welcome to the virtual stage Toastmaster Carolina Ramirez, who is our general evaluator for this evening.
Thank you, Rosina. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters. It's time for evaluations. And the first portion of this section is for evaluating the prepared speeches. And we have 3 evaluators. Remember that you have between 2 and 3 minutes to give your evaluation. And the first evaluator for today is Jim Barber. He's going to evaluate Sunny Fridge's speech. Welcome, Jim.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. My fellow Toastmasters, our most welcome guest this evening, and especially, of course, Toastmaster Sunny Fridge. Here's my hypothesis for the next 3 minutes. Although Sunny gave us one presentation, I'm actually going to perform 3 evaluations. Since it's 3 evaluations, I'm going to do this on a little bit of a rush. Let's start with the first one, evaluating Sunny Fridge's presentation skills themselves. Sunny, of course, everything here is top-notch, everything that we would expect. Your vocals are incredible, they're terrific. Your gestures were congruent, they were appropriate to what you were doing. Your speech structure was well-defined, it was easy to follow. Basically, you demonstrated everything that a top-notch Toastmaster does. And so this was a great presentation for beginning Toastmasters, for people that are just starting to give their icebreaker. This is what Toastmasters should aspire to. That's the first evaluation. Now, the second evaluation is you showed us a video. You presented a video that you had prepared. So let me evaluate the video itself. Your on-camera presence is perfect. You are professional. It's great. Your visual aids. We talk about pacing and when we're speaking, but a lot of times we don't focus on the pacing of visual aids. But you put up a visual aid only for the amount of time that it was necessary, and then you moved it away. You moved to the next one. They weren't too fast. They weren't too slow. Everything was perfect. Your use of the split screen, your use of the other technologies, everything worked. You are a consummate video professional, and it showed in this. Now, the third evaluation, this was somewhat unusual. You were not presenting to us. You were doing a video, but you were presenting the video to us. And on this one, I have a suggestion. This is what you were doing, or this is what basically you were aspiring to do, and this was what the video looked like. However, what we saw was this. the player control was still on the screen. And unfortunately, it blocked the screen during some important parts. So if you were presenting this video, say, to the Toastmasters powers that be, telling them that they should use this video or something like that, you lose the player control. It's not helping matters. But that's only the third evaluation. As I say, the first and second two evaluations, they were incredibly good. And this is something that I think every beginning Toastmaster should see. It would take an awful lot of the fear out of doing their icebreaker presentation if they had this to look at. Kudos, Sunny. Looking forward to your next one. Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Jim, for your evaluation. The second evaluator of today is Johnny Laidlaw. She's going to evaluate Graham Cairns' speech. Welcome, Johnny.
I am hoping I can be heard. Thumbs up if I can. I have an hypothesis, distinguished Toastmaster Graham, that for somebody who has done, I think I'm on my 8th or 9th class, 4 of which was in the old area, 4 of which, I lost count, are in the new. I came up with a hypothesis that the research and presenting stage was moved specifically because it is impossible to do all that research and get it into just a 5 to 7 minute speech. I mean, after all, how do you tell me to go off and look up information and I only do it in 7 minutes? Plus I have to quote sources. Not possible. By the way, you didn't help to make me bring that into a theory, by the way. You created a whole different hypothesis. And what was that? I'll get there. Your pace, your tone, and your vocal variety were on point as usual. I could tell you were comfortable with this and comfortable sharing this information. I like the fact that your background did the whole chat GPT thing, and it helped us to get in the mindset of what you were saying. My thing with your vocal variety, though, tied into the new hypothesis that I created. I get why, whenever I gave my research and presenting speeches, I always got asked, why should I care? Why should I care? Who is Conan O'Brien? I know who Conan O'Brien is because I watched it. But if you had thrown in some, in the year 2000, when you were doing your impression of Conan, then one, it would give you an opportunity to reference why I should care. Well, you know, he's a very successful talk show host, and that's how come he ended up at the university giving the speech. I also would appreciate if you gave me some more information, as in, I get that you use the chat bot, and that's excellent, but what does some credible sources, New York Times, Toastmasters International, have to say about this? I know it's not going to be written down because Lord knows, people still read the newspapers. Yes, David, that one was to you. Where would I find this information? Does USA Today have something about this? But I loved your quote, and I will be acquiring it. Steal one man's work, and it's plagiarism. But take 5, and it's considered research. Since I only heard Conan, I might be giving this to Chat GPT. But well, there was also Shakespeare, who I still wonder why I should listen to. But I figure if you had thrown in the other 3, then I could construct research, and it would make this all the more impactful. Hopefully, you'll turn my hypothesis into a theory. Back to you, a general evaluator.
Thank you, Johnny, for your evaluation. Our last but not least evaluator for today is Petra Corrado, and she's going to evaluate Evie Hartman's speech. Welcome, Petra.
Madam General Evaluator, friends, and especially Evie. Evie, you gave a spot-on ice crusher. I not only know you, but I know you in details and at a deeper level. I don't think it's only me, but I saw in the chat that a lot of people were talking emotionally about your inspiring, not only factual, but not only fact, but inspiring information and the way you compose it and you deliver it in your icebreaker. So congratulations, Evie. What a wonderful presentation. Wonderful. I'm going to give you my account of evaluation in 3 categories. 1, when I hear you. 2nd, when I see you. And 3rd, when I feel you. So when I hear you, I can hear your confidence, your experience, your being a seasoned speaker. You were so fluent in what you had to tell us. Of course, this is the subject closest to yourself, to your heart. I can hear a lot of information and organization. You start with your now, what you're doing now, and your then, your past, and your future, what you hope to do. And that was making it easy for me or the audience to follow and to remember about your life as an icebreaker. And as I see you, lots of times I saw your big, beautiful blue eyes and your warm smile, and I love them so much. Maybe a little more of those. Yes, beautiful. You are a beautiful person inside out. I love it. And as I feel you, the prominent thing that I saw you was your sincerity. And I really love your sharing your vulnerability with us, the story about your boyfriend, now your husband. And I think it got me so emotional. And now I would like to talk about hypothesis and experimentation and to see if you agree. I'm going to tell you that in the audience, there are members like me, old, 74, hard of hearing, and foreigner. So if you please just slow down a little bit and pause, and so that a foreigner ears like me can pick up, I think that would be wonderful. Great job, Evie. I'm looking forward to your next speech and good luck for your Wednesday.
Thank you, Petra, for your evaluation. Mr. Timer, are all the evaluators qualified?
They sure are. Although a couple of them made full use of the 30-second margin of error there. But I always admire somebody who makes the full use of things.
Making the most of their time. Great. Please vote and choose your favorite on the chat. The next person who's going to evaluate the meeting from the point of our grants, it's our accountant, Diana Marshalek. Welcome, Diana.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. Today, overall, everybody did very well, but I did hear a couple of ums and uhs. Graham had 4 ums, Trisha had 2 ums, David had 1 Evie had 2 uhs, Antoinette had 3 uhs, and I had 1 Nobody's perfect. Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Diana. And my hypothesis is if I strive to use the word of the day, maybe I will be a better speaker at the end of the year. Mr. Grammarian Lou Brown, what's your opinion?
Kudos to you for getting that in right under the wire at the buzzer there, Carolina. Okay, other folks who have used the word of the day, hypothesis, Trisha, Jim, Petra, of course, Carolina just mentioned you, and Joni, not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times. Here are some excellent use of grammar phrases that I noted. With Sunny, the art of writing is to rewrite what you've rewritten. Had to kind of say that slowly so it would come out right. You can always make money. You can't always make memories. Confidence breeds competence. Graham, failure can be a learning experience. Yes, sir, it can be. Stealing one man's work is plagiarism. Stealing 5 men's work is research. And the Shakespearean quote, oh, brave new world that has such wonders in it. Evie, your lines that I noted were more from a humorous standpoint. I took my boyfriend to California, but that wasn't the traumatic part. And then you pivoted not soon after that with, well, he's my husband now. What I liked near the end of your speech, your ending, you'll get through it because chances are you've already done it. Boy, did that really sit well with me. Thank you so much for that. Petra, living the rat race, use the word vulnerability. Awesome. Nikki, accountability buddy. You don't hear that often, but one of my favorite phrases. Diane, take care of your mind, body, and soul. Jim used the word congruent, and consummate, which I at first thought, oh, is that the verb? No, it is the adjective. So wonderful usage of that word, Jim. And I didn't note any poor usage. I'm not really great at pointing out poor usage, but if anything egregious would have occurred, I would have noted it. The only one thing I did note is folks sometimes will say phrases like, I'd like to share with you the following. I think it's more grammatically correct, or at least more of a confident way to say it, just, I will share with you. Because if you say I'd like to, then we're like, okay, well, are you gonna? That's it. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Lou, for your report. And I want to know, how do we look today? Mr. Watcher, Andy.
Thank you very much, Carolina. It's my pleasure to have been watching everybody doing their presentations and performing in all aspects of this wonderful Toastmasters meeting. I think for our guests, you would probably say, this is an advanced club. We're on the cutting edge of using technology. But more than that, people are confident. We are known for the evaluations and the ability to learn and move forward. First off, as you look at all of the frames, you have different aspects that are something to be paying attention to. For Trish, congratulations and kudos on your snowflakes. My hypothesis is you worked on that pretty much. Graham has his augmentation of his speech with the computer stuff in the chats. And I, in fact, put before I knew that Graham was doing this, I put a reference to a company that's very much behind the chat box and being able to do that, and played with it myself. It's absolutely fascinating. You can go down and say, these are the things I want to talk about, create a speech in the style of John Maxwell. And it will give you a speech filled with all sorts of allegories to religious items and references, and sounds just like John Maxwell. This was actually shown also on 60 Minutes, and I won't digress too much, where there was a question of intellectual property, where an artist was saying, create these pictures in the style of Monet, or create these pictures in the style of someone else. Then the question was that forgery? Was it plagiarism? And it was a long discussion. Graham would enjoy it. Any event, everyone did a really good job. Be aware when you're doing your frames that lighting is important. The 2 most important things in an online presentation is making sure your hearing or your voice comes through clearly, and your backgrounds are not distracting, but they add to what you're doing. If you're in a home like Andre, you might consider using a background to block out the background or use a blurring effect. Sometimes your background adds. Those are what I observed. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Andy. Welcome our chat monitor, Andriy Smolenko.
Thank you, Carolina. I'll be brief because one of the things we're proud to do at Online Presenters to finish on time, most of the time. The few things I've noticed that we've used chat extensively today, especially when prompted by Graham Cairns in his speech about artificial intelligence. There were a number of comments about that. Also, we use the chat to congratulate our great speakers today, the three of them, and share some encouraging words about what we liked. And someone posted a link about Online Presenters' Facebook page. So I strongly encourage you to click on that link and check out that amazing page and share a few posts. Overall, if you really enjoyed that chat, and I'm sure many of you did, you can save the chat by clicking on 3 dots right at the bottom of the chat, save it and enjoy it over and over again. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you very much, Andriy. Time to know the winners. Rick, please. Who are the winners today?
I will do that very quickly. Our best speaker was Evie Hartman. Congratulations.
Woo!
Our best table topics was Petra Korodal. And our best evaluator was also Petra. Congratulations.
Congrats for the winners. Thank you, Rick. And as a general evaluator, a tip to improve, I opened the room 45 minutes before the meeting. That's your opportunity to try your visual aids if you need to. And saying this, Rosina, back to you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Carolina, and congratulations to everyone that participated and our winners for this evening. I'm going to now hand it back over to our president, Toastmaster, Distinguished Toastmaster Andy Byrne.
Thank you very much, Rosina. I'm still getting the hand of using a tri-screen, so I have to see where my cursor is at any given time. The first thing I'd like to do is thank each of our guests for coming to our meeting, and I want to give you each a minute to tell us how you felt about the meeting. What was your impression? What was different from the regular meetings that you've gone to in other formats? What do you think about how we did? First, let me start off with Antoinette Cleveland.
Hi,